Ole Miss beat Alcorn last night, 29-1 was the final score in that game.
Probably not as close as the score makes it appear.
No, and I watched a good bit of it as we were doing the show yesterday. And
glutton for punishment? What's going on there?
Here's the thing about those games. I understand why they get played, because there is no doubt there is a financial benefit or equipment benefit. As you mentioned yesterday, Mississippi State would give baseballs as part of the deal, because those get expensive, right? I mean, you're talking, when they made the seam change in the baseball, they had to wait a year because most programs were like, we already spent our $30,000 on baseballs and we can't just do that again.
Right.
Our budget's really tight. So I understand that there's the financial benefit to it. Nobody accomplished anything in Oxford last night. Nobody. Ole Miss didn't get any better. In fact, they probably got worse. Alcorn didn't get any better. They probably got worse.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, before they play Tennessee, that has the most talented team in college baseball, was seeing pitches in the 60s last night.
Yeah.
That game, not only from like just a playing baseball perspective, probably did damage to Ole Miss despite winning 29-1. Mm-hmm. Their RPI dropped last night, 3 spots.
Yeah.
And
which said it would, yeah.
It definitely would, or it definitely did. And yes, you said it would, and sure enough, it did. 3 spots. Because the RPI, unlike the net in college basketball, doesn't recognize the margin of victory the same way. In the net in college basketball, if you win by 1, it's different than if you win by 15. Mm-hmm. For the RPI, Ole Miss might as well have won 1-0 last night.
Yeah, it would have been the same thing.
It would have been the same thing. And so, look, I know that it's kind of a delicate conversation. That game shouldn't have been played.
Right.
That game doesn't need to be played anymore. Nobody's accomplishing anything. Figure out a way to either, A, just kind of help them out if they need. You have equipment deals. You've got ways to support your in-state programs that need some support. Maybe you play them in your fall series. You got a home football game on Saturday. Game kicks off at 5 o'clock. You play Alcorn in baseball because they're doing the fall scrimmages now against other teams anyway.
Yeah.
Do that then. Play that game at noon. A few thousand people will show up to the baseball stadium. Before a football game, of course they would. Mm-hmm. And do that there. Because now you're talking about an Ole Miss team that can host. They have a resume currently that has them as a host. They can do it. 3 RPI spots can absolutely be the difference in hosting or not hosting. It can absolutely be the difference in being a national seed and not being a national seed. So winning a game 29-1 hurt you in the possibility to host a regional or host a super regional.
Yeah, if we come back in a few weeks, and this will say, they drop this series to Tennessee, and they drop another series here down the road.
Which is entirely possible. It's the SEC.
Right? And their RPI is sitting at like 21. I mean, that's a real
That
numbers.
game is what happened.
That's real numbers.
Or if your RPI, that is 17.
It's 17, yeah, and it can be, so yeah.
And I don't think they're dropping below 17 or like that far because they're sitting at 9 currently.
They should be fine, but again, if they do go through a rough stretch, that could be something that comes back. And that's why over the last few years we've seen Ole Miss, basically cancel a game.
Arkansas State, and I mean, Chase Parham said it first, so of course I'll give him credit. I mean, if Ole Miss plays that game, they don't get in.
Yeah.
They don't win a national championship, but they canceled that game, and they were called soft at the time. And good call.
We talked about State doing that last year when we were talking about they were trying to host, and they played North Alabama late in the season, and we were like, they should really cancel that game. And the SEC ended up releasing that statement about teams that, or was it the NCAA that released it? So
something like that, yeah.
Teams that cancel games for non-weather-related purposes will be penalized.
Right.
It ended up, I don't think anybody got penalized, but
the fact that they put that out there. And here's another one. Jeff, you're exactly right. Luke Chang got hurt when the score was like 26-0. I mean, the Ole Miss's shortstop, who has already missed time for a concussion for getting hit in the head with a ball, a really scary moment, got hit again last night.
Oh, no.
And you're winning by a quarter of 100. And you've got a player out there getting hurt. So that and of course, look, you can't, well, that player got hurt. so therefore that game is bad. What happens if, knock on wood, Ole Miss fans, I got wood behind me somewhere, Austin Simmons, if he gets hurt against Georgia State, you can't say, well, that's why you don't play Georgia State in week 1. But that just adds another layer to you're winning by 1/4 you're losing in the RPI, you're not accomplishing anything. I had somebody tell me last night, well, it keeps their momentum up. No, it doesn't.
I mean, they're
going to see 100 on Friday night.
They beat Memphis Tuesday. That's plenty of momentum.
And Memphis had pitching that was adequate that didn't throw you off.
Take a day off and get ready to play Tennessee. I don't think that momentum has anything to do with that.
Yeah. So I want these in-state teams to get support somehow because they need it. They need it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
there's got to be a better way to do it, though, as opposed to playing a game where you win by 28 runs and you fall in the RPI.
One thing I've discussed in the past, and I don't know if it would still be feasible, with to do it at Trustmark, is to do a round robin tournament one weekend where State, Ole Miss, and Southern are there, and Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, and Alcorn are all there, and you just play. The big schools play the little schools, and divvy up the revenue and just let them have it. State, Ole Miss, Southern can live without the ticket revenue from those games, but then you get a weekend of all those 3 teams are in. State plays Friday night, plays Saturday, plays Sunday. Ole Miss does the same thing, and
something.
It would just make more sense. And also, your RPI benefits a little bit because you're playing neutral site games now.
Mm-hmm. At least it doesn't hurt you as bad,
right?
I mean, the fall thing is what I was thinking about a lot on the way here because
only thing I would think about that is that it would be tough for a lot of folks to tear themselves away from the Grove and from tailgating.
It would.
To come out to watch a glorified baseball scrimmage.
But if you're and maybe there's just not enough of them.
Mike and Oxford.
Mike would be.
He would 100% go. He'd be like, I'll be back to get some more food, but I got to go do this.
But there are State fans that are the same. But I do think, though, if you held a game, who's State's first SEC home game? I should know this. I don't. Who's their first SEC home game?
I think it's Texas. I'll have to double check.
Okay, let's call it Texas, just for the sake of it. And Mississippi State wants to play Jackson State on the Saturday they're playing Texas. Kickoff time is, we'll call it 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
Play baseball at 11. I think people will go. I mean,
Tennessee was the correct
Tennessee. People would go, and you could sell $5 tickets or whatever. You could find a way to make that something. Or you sell beer in concessions, and I don't know. What happened last night, I mean, I hate to put it this way, it's a joke. A 29-1 baseball game is a joke for everybody involved. Those don't need to happen anymore.